Internal male genital organs. They are testes with epididymis, then deferent duct and spermatocord, prostate and seminal vesicles. And testes, that is a testis, and behind of testis we have epididymis. Epididymis. Testis, external surface of testis and epididymis has connective tissue that is tunica albuginea, and it continues into the testis and makes septular testis and separate testis into 300 lobules, lobuli testis. And these lobules has convoluted seminiferi tubules, tubuli seminiferi contorti, that is place where spermatozoids produce. And these convoluted tubules join together and forms straight tubules. Each lobule has two convoluted and one straight tubule. I put number one here, that is convoluted seminiferi tubules, number two straight tubules, and this tubuli seminiferi recti makes network rete testis. Number three, network rete testis, and from rete testis ductuli efferentes goes to the head of epididymis. Number four, ductuli efferentes, and ductuli efferentes join together and forms ductus epididymidis. Number five, ductus epididymidis, and this duct continues from tail. Epididymis has head, caput epididymidis, body, corpus epididymidis, and tail, cauda epididymidis, and from tail ductus deferens, deferent duct, ductus deferens, put here number 6. It continues with spermatocord and goes to superficial inguinal ring, and then pass through inguinal canal, and in the region of deep inguinal ring, then continues into true pelvis, that is urinary bladder, that is urethra, it is prostate, and it is seminal vesicle, vesiculi seminalis. And now deferent duct makes ampule, ampulla ductus deferentis, and joined with excretory duct of seminal vesicle, and forms ejaculatory duct, ductus ejaculatorius, and this ejaculatory duct opens into urethra. Deferent duct, ductus deferens, it has pars testicularis, behind of testis and epididymis, pars funicularis, in spermatocord, pars inguinalis, in inguinal canal, and pars pulvina. And pars pulvina has ampule, I put here number 7, ampulla ductus deferentis, number 8, that is seminal vesicle, number 9, that is excretory duct, and both deferent duct and excretory duct makes ejaculatory duct, ductus ejaculatorius, and it opens into urethra. Number 11, it is urinary bladder and prostate. That is pathway of seminal fluid, that is from place where spermatozoids produced and how they leaves testis and goes to urethra. This diagram you need to draw next time. Now, somewhat about development of testis. Maybe you know that testis start to develop in abdominal cavity. That is abdominal cavity. It is on posterior abdominal wall. That is place where testis start to develop, and then it should goes into the scrotum, and it is peritoneum. That is peritoneum, and peritoneum behind of peritoneum from inferior end of testis start to grow connective tissue cord, that is gubernaculum testis, and this gubernaculum grows downward and it take peritoneum together with gubernaculum, and peritoneum makes blind process, and behind together with peritoneum and gubernaculum testis descend into the scrotum, and after descendance we receive scrotum with coats of the testis. Look here, what is the name of external coat on anterior abdominal wall? That is the skin of anterior abdominal wall, and this skin continues into the skin of scrotum. That is letter A, skin of the scrotum. Behind of skin, what is the next layer? Subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous fat. That is the second layer on anterior abdominal wall, and this subcutaneous fat continues into the scrotum into tunica dartas. Tunica dartas. This layer, it have not got fat present, but not so large fat like in subcutaneous tissue, but we have connective tissue and smooth muscles. That is tunica dartas. Tunica dartas. It is continuation of subcutaneous fat. I put here letter B. That is tunica dartas. It is continuation of subcutaneous fat. Next, what is below of fat? We have fascia, fascia abdominalis superficialis, superficial abdominal fascia. That is third layer on anterior abdominal wall, and this fascia continues into external spermatic fascia in scrotum. In scrotum. That is letter C. Letter C. Fascia spermatica externa. Then, on anterior abdominal wall, we have superficial inguinal ring, and this ring has fascia intercruralis. And fascia intercruralis continues into the scrotum as fascia cremasterica, cremasteric fascia. Fascia cremasterica. I put number 4, that is fascia intercruralis, and letter D, fascia cremasterica. Next layer, that is muscles of anterior abdominal wall, and two muscles, they are internal oblique muscle and transverse muscle, musculus transversus abdominis. They continues into the scrotum as musculus cremaster, musculus cremaster. That is letter E. It is number 5, musculus obliquus internus abdominis and musculus transversus abdominis, and continuation, that is musculus cremaster. Behind of these muscles we have another fascia, that is fascia transversalis. I put here number 6, and fascia transversalis continues into internal spermatic fascia, fascia spermatica interna. F, letter F. And last code, look here, that is, it is testis, that is a testis with epididymis. And last code, that is peritoneum, peritoneum. And after descendants of testis, peritoneum, number 7, peritoneum, and we can see that peritoneum continues into tunica vaginalis testis. I put here letter G. And tunica vaginalis testis has parietal layer and visceral layer, which is attached to testis. And this blind process present only in time of descendants. It is processus vaginalis. But after testes descend into the scrotum, this process, processus vaginalis, it separates from peritoneal cavity, and only we have tunica vaginalis testis, which is near of testis, and it has parietal and visceral layer, and space between them, that is cavum vaginalis testis. If this process, processus vaginalis, not separates from peritoneum, in this case we receive hernia, inguinal hernia, and intestine goes into the scrotum, and it is not good for testis, it is not good for intestine. That is a problem, necessary to make operation. That is codes of the testis, and they are corresponding to the layers on anterior abdominal wall. You don't need to draw this diagram, but you need to know names of layers on anterior abdominal wall and how these layers correspond to the codes of the testis. What else? Some words about spermatic cord. From we already said that it is testis, that is epididymis, and it is deferent duct, ductus deferens. And deferent duct pass with spermatic cord. And this spermatic cord consists of not only deferent duct, but we have arteria testicularis, which supplies testis, vena testicularis, which makes plexus pampiniformis, nerve, that is genital branch of genitofemoral nerve, and some codes of testis. In spermatic cord we can see 3 codes. They are fascia cremasterica, musculus cremaster, and fascia spermatica interna. These 3 codes surround spermatic cord. One again, fascia cremasterica, musculus cremaster, and fascia spermatica interna. These 3 codes of the testis, they take place in spermatic cord. Some words about prostate. Prostate consists of glandular part, pars glandularis, or prostate gland, and muscular part. Muscle, okay, that is urinary bladder, that is urethra, it is prostate. And muscular part of this gland, of prostate, that is smooth muscles, which participate, they work like additional sphincter of male urethra. You know, in female, internal sphincter in urinary bladder, external sphincter in urogenital diaphragm, and in male we have additional sphincter, that is muscular part of prostate gland. What else? If we cut horizontally prostate, that is urethra is near of anterior surface of prostate, that is not in central part but near of anterior part, and ejaculatory duct, ductus ejaculatorius, posteriorly from posterior wall goes to urethra, and with the help of these two ejaculatory ducts, prostate subdivides into three parts, three lobes: lobus dexter, right lobe; lobus sinister, that is the left. It is better to write here. That is sinister, here it is dexter, and lobus medius. Lobus sinister, lobus medius, and lobus dexter. In your manual describes that sometimes lobus medius call isthmus of prostate gland, but it is not so correct, because more better to call isthmus this narrow part of prostate in front of urethra. That is why lobus medius, that is space between ejaculatory ducts, left and right lobes, and isthmus, that is in front of male urethra. And that is prostatic part of urethra, that is urethra. And posterior wall of urethra has colliculus seminalis, that it's look like tubercle, and on the apex of this tubercle we can see openings of ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct near the apex of colliculus seminalis. And laterally from this colliculus seminalis we can see a lot of small openings of prostatic glands. Glandula prostatice, they has ducts, ductuli prostatice, which opens laterally from colliculus seminalis. And on the apex of colliculus we have blind fossa, that is utriculus prostaticus, small uterus that is a remnant of paramesonephric duct. If not, we don't know what is the function in male, but this blind fossa is present at the apex of colliculus seminalis. And laterally from this place we can see openings of ejaculatory ducts. In your textbook present information about bulbourethral glands. These glands is in the region of muscles of perineum, and ducts of these glands opens into urethra near the bulb of penis, and that is why bulba, because here it is bulbus penis take place. Bulbourethral glands, they opens into urethra. They produce mucous secret, and this mucous secret protect mucous membrane of urethra from irritation with urine. What we can see, only this diagram you need to draw. All another diagrams only for your understanding. Now, in preparation. That is a testis. You need to recognize, is it right or left testis? How to do it? Between testis and epididymis, this one, that is epididymis, on lateral side we can see sinus, that is a space. Look here, sinus epididymidis. And this sinus should be laterally, and epididymis is behind of testis. I take in my left hand, and now sinus looks laterally. If I take in my right hand, now sinus looks medially. It is wrong. If I take this way, now sinus looks laterally, but epididymis is in front. That is why it is left testis. You can see tunica albuginea, that is connective tissue, and visceral layer of peritoneum, that is tunica vaginalis testis, which is supplies with, it fused with testis and with epididymis. This part of epididymis, that is head, body, and tail. And above of testis and epididymis, this structure, that is spermatic cord, And main structure here it is, that is deferent duct, ductus deferens, ductus deferens. Here it is. This is deferent duct, ductus deferens. It is most hard structure in spermatic cord. It has thick wall, muscular layer is very thick in the deferent duct, and it is easy to find this duct in spermatic cord. All another structures, they are vessels, nerves, and some codes. Fascia cremasterica, musculus cremaster, and fascia spermatica interna. All of these structures together, that is spermatic cord. That is numerous lobules. It is difficult to see, and they are lobuli testis, which separates with connective tissue one from another. And here it is. You all already know that it is urinary bladder, that is apex, body, base, and here it is right and left what? Ureter. And here it is prostate, that is urethra, that is male urethra, and you can see seminal vesicles, left and right, and deferent duct, left and right. And deferent duct, terminal part of deferent duct, that is ampule, ampulla ductus deferensis, and ampule joined together with excretory duct, ductus excretorius from seminal vesicle. They join together and continues through prostate, ejaculatory duct, ductus ejaculatorius. And on the left side the same. Deferent duct, here it is excretory duct and continues into ejaculatory duct. That is all. Your questions? No? Maybe somebody want to answer missing classes today?